well done, people. We greet you now. This now pensioner council, and maybe the talk man for the council. Hey, then don't still give me one small name, then say make I put to my name again. Waiting retirement ambassador. Hey, don't join my name, retirement ambassador. If you call me again, pensioner choose. Now like that to our people, they don't see me come, make I come again, come tell you now, come show now waiting somebody talk again for that our retirement summit. You know, now waiting people talk, we just they show now this one. Person when talk today, waiting they talk, it did very important. May you listen. We waiting be the thing, no. Then same Adetola Oga for mutual specialist. Don talk where people when one better retirement, where they fit invest, where they fit put their money, when go help them get a better retirement. Now the thing una go listen to wetin Madam Adetola Adegbayi, una go listen to wetin she talk. If una don listen, I go come back again, come put mouth for the thing. I dey come back.
In terms of the structure of the economy, which will really help us in determining what we want to do, is that our economy is heavily dependent on, everyone knows it, agri, trade, telecommunications and services. These are also, in addition to government, the highest employers of labor. The next part of the structure of our economy, which is also visible to all of us, and there are reflections of this in what the father of the day also said. There's a lot of investment in Nigeria when it comes to construction and real estate. Most people, when they want to save long term or when they want to invest long term, think of property. So they invest a lot in property, they build flats for rent, they do all of that. But sometimes also you can be awash with a particular type of investment that may also be a bit of challenge. Yes, you can really sell the houses off towards retirement and depend on the money. But there are other things that will also help you in retirement to continue to remain active. Because it's not just about money sometimes also. It's about engaging your mind, ensuring you have a stream of income, and being happy within yourself. So having all the property, and sometimes even selling the property to leave, may not necessarily bring happiness. Some people are happiest when they're still working, and when they have a stream of income, that will make them comfortable. So you have that, and then at the very bottom end, that we don't concentrate on in terms of what we want to do, or areas that require, and that we will begin to invest in whilst we're working, the things we've left behind. Most of us work within the urban parts of Nigeria, the metropolitan parts of Nigeria, Lagos, Abuja, to some extent, until the challenges began in the east, let's say Port Harcourt, Enugu. But more and more people are beginning to flock more to the urban areas and moving away from areas we should actually try to find ways by which we stay there. So to diversify also the national wealth of Nigeria requires that the areas we're moving away from, we may need to move to. Why am I saying that? Those areas require our investments to a certain extent. There are areas that are lagging in Nigeria. They contribute less than 0.2% to the Nigerian wealth, at least the world wealth. And there are also the new areas that is being talked about. I'm sure we've all heard of sustainability. One of those areas is forestry. Has anybody ever thought that within the locality, outside of Lagos, outside of the urban areas, they could invest in forestry? And they could invest and they could get people to support them in building forest reserves within their localities and actually create some economic stream of income from it. Not many of us know that. So forestry is one area. Then again, pulp, paper, products. A lot of us are saying that we've gone online. But paper and paper products is not necessarily just for writing. There are also other things that they're used for. These are low base of the economy that maybe part of our little income that we're earning when we're working can actually also go into. How many of us think of the dimensions of the economy when we're working to say, Nigeria, we have a lot of empty ancestral holdings. And how do we bring ourselves together to invest in those ancestral homes so that we can encourage people who want to know other parts of Nigeria and need places to stay, to begin to use those ancestral homes as part of tourism industry outside of the urban areas. Nigeria is a beautiful country, but when beauty is neglected, it doesn't look attractive. So it only takes somebody that will see that natural beauty to then bring it out. Can we invest in that? Investment is not just in what is obvious. Investment is in what is also not obvious, but it requires us to be deliberate about looking at the structure of the Nigerian economy and being able to take from it. And as we do that, we also would then have to move on and say, okay, if I understand the structure of the Nigerian economy, what do we do next? What do we do next also is, as part of economics of labor, is to understand the labor market in Nigeria. There's a tendency for us that are salaried workers to think that everything revolves around us, and to think about the fact that when we're working, we're comfortable, we're getting the pay. Hopefully some of us are wise enough to put money aside for savings. There's compulsory savings anyway, which government has done in terms of pension contributions. But the bulk of our people are actually in the informal sector. So according to the statistics from the Nigeria Bureau, which we should also have interest in, particularly for knowledgeable workers, is that in Nigeria, we have about 116, and this statistics is old, but that's what I would have to use, because we also are not as quick to bring out data that we require. You cannot plan for retirement without data, without information. You can only plan when you're conscious of the data that you have, and you use that data to inform yourself about the areas of the economy that you can invest in once you are actively working. So the population of Nigeria, working age population, 116.6 million people. That is an awful lot of people. And out of that, the labor force again tends to concentrate within areas of the economy that is heaviest, agri, and in states that are heavily invested in agriculture. You will find, as we go along, that out of this 116.6 million people, less than 10% of that is actually the salaried workers that we're talking about or trying to encourage. You don't have to look at this also in context of the dimension of poverty. The way that the Bureau of Statistics calculates labor is really for employment purposes, whether or not we have high unemployment. But sometimes within the formal sector, when we're talking about high unemployment, it's from an observational perspective that there are lots of young people that do not have employment. But from a statistical point of view, so far as that young person can find something to do in a day and can earn a wage for it, that statistics is then that there is employment. It could be a graduate that has not found work but is doing something. We will still consider as employment, even if the person is selling a newspaper, it's still employment. So the employment data in Nigeria masks the poverty data in Nigeria, and also shows us how do we alleviate our own poverty and how do we alleviate the poverty of others? Because even if we are okay by ourselves, if the people around us are not okay, are not gainfully employed, and we have the capacity to get them employed, we definitely are not okay. When measured by what happens to the majority, so the majority is poor, even if I'm comfortable in myself, it means I'm poor. It means the risk of that poverty is also on me. Now, the panel discussants are still going to talk about managing some of those risks. But some of those risks are also good in our financial planning. Why am I saying that? And also into retirement. Most people are afraid to go back home, meaning ancestral home. Why? Because it's no longer safe. Because all the young people also want to go to the urban areas. And because when they go there, they're like one person that is seemingly obviously successful in the midst of a lot of people that are financially poor. So why don't we begin to think of how do we invest out of the urban areas to ensure that we can also comfortably go back there and thrive? So these are the things we need to think about as well. The poverty relationship of how employment is seen in a formal way, the actual observation reality in terms of there may be high employment from a statistical point of view, but there is also high poverty. How do we use our earnings whilst we're young and working to reduce the poverty that is around us so that we can also retire comfortably away from the urban areas that we need to leave because we may not even be able to afford the rental that is there by the time we're retiring. This brings us also next to how do we even group income? You've heard the speakers talk about how they've grown their income. But life is not the same for everybody. There are different stages of life, and within these different stages of life, there are different economic groups. And that economic group, what they need to do in terms of retirement differs. If I'm poor and poorly paid, and I hardly can scratch the surface, even if you say I should put 10% of my earnings aside, and I'm going to now use people just above the minimum wage. The minimum wage now is 70,000. So I'm going to use somebody that is slightly above the minimum wage into what we call the low income wage, which now is probably about 120,000, 150,000. If you save 10% of that, and you're diligent in saving it, there may not be much investment that you can do in terms of your former type of investment.
People now don't hear whether Madam Adegbayi talk, na true she talk. Say when people they talk about this retirement planning, people they think say na just to get money. As she open our eyes, it's not be only to get money. Even you self, you say it is very, very necessary. Even when you they plan your own, you go they still they think about people when near you. Because if you don't already plan your own, you don't build house, you don't put money aside, you dey enjoy yourself, but the place when you retire to, say the people when they there, say you not get the better relationship for that, you no go enjoy your retirement to, then go become smoke for your eye, you go dey fear, anytime you no go dey sleep well. Now the thing when she talk, the thing they really make sense. You know be say, I always say be good though, make you plan though, you make investment though, you put money for down though, you go invest it for community, you do everything. But when you do all those, may you not forget about the people when near you. May you remember, say, if you plan your own retirement, you go see the remember people when near you. It is very, very important, because even this thing when she talk, now get one thing when we they talk for council, when we they talk, they say get one Oga when they for army, say hey, say this a Boko Haram people, say them attacker. Imagine that kind of thing. If you demand don't retire now. If you go in village, then go stop and follow. Now all of them are part of retirement. When when you dey work, make you no dey think of your own alone o, because if you dey think of your own alone, you the other people, you no dey even dey think of other people. When you retire, those people dem fit become problem for you. Na be another leg when Mrs. Adegbayi bring into this thing o, make you know say your retirement e no be only for you o. As you dey plan your own, you go dey still dey take care of people wey near you, because that place when you wan retire into, if the people wey dey there say you themselves say na only you get money, they themselves the life no dey go for them, dem go dey trouble you. Na be the thing o. Retirement dey very big o, e dey very big. Na be the thing when we wetin she talk, we many will just bring small part of it, make una lis ten to that. Na the thing o, say how you fit invest o, where you fit invest o, for maybe for agric o, you fit invest for there o, you fit invest for insurance o, you fit invest for pension. Many things when she mention, make una don hear am, make I no go talk for her. Una don hear am. Na the thing o, say make we dey plan well o. As you plan your own, hey, that one is sweet me well well. As you dey plan your own, make you dey plan for people wey near you, because if you only plan your own, you no plan for people wey near you. When you don retire, you think say you wan enjoy, hey, the people wey near you, when you not think of their own, dem fit become problem for you. I pray make we not get problem for retirement. Na like that e be o. Either say people when they follow us, when they like, when they share, say may God dey bless una, una not tire o, una dey put this in so that everybody go dey hear am. Na like that e be. Any day when I send me come again, I go come tell na wetin we talk for council. Una remain blessed o.